my name is James Evans.
And I'm Amy Gaipa. What role do you fill, James Evans?
We are the producers of Dirty Rhetoric, and I'm also the writer-director.
I'm the production designer, and I'll also be playing the character of Ruth.
That's right.
Yes.
And this is our set, and we're here on the Stony Brook campus in Southampton. I'm finishing up my MFA, and Amy is faculty, and also finished her MFA in the program, and we're here making a film. So I am from Mastic Beach, New York, which is about 25 to 45 minutes away from here, depending on traffic and how fast you drive.
And I'm a transplant from Michigan, and then was in Brooklyn for quite some time, and then migrated out to Long Island as I joined the faculty of Stony Brook undergrad film minor program, and I'm in the East Yapping area.
So I found the program, the MFA program here at Stony Brook, right out of my undergraduate. I was doing economics and always had a passion for filmmaking, so I was looking up filmmaking programs because I wanted to learn the craft through an institution, and I was finding that so many expensive programs, and so many programs that don't really teach the practical aspects of filmmaking. So I was happy to find the Stony Brook program in 2015. I enrolled, and then Amy and I were in the same inaugural class, and that's how we met. And then I'll let Amy take it away how she found it.
Yeah, and I mean, I was following the 2020 program that was here on the Southampton campus, led by Magdalene Brandeis and Christine Vachon, and they had filmmakers come out in the summer to do a sort of intensive, but I really wanted a degree, and so I kept waiting and hoping that someday I would find the right program for myself. And then when Stony Brook announced that they were having an official MFA, I decided to apply and took it from there. But prior to that, I've been a professional actor up until this point, and so I'm used to things in front of the camera, and I was really interested in challenging myself then behind the camera.
Absolutely, and then we met and we started producing films together. First I approached Amy as a production designer, and then on the first film, Brennan, it sort of turned in and she became a producer on that film. And then it was sort of a wild ride ever since, now leading to our first feature, or at least the first feature that I'm producing and directing. And I think the first feature you're producing.
Yes.
And here we are, doing it.
Indeed. And then as the role of the production designer, we were so fortunate because generally we are not afforded an opportunity to be able to actually like install a set. Especially at the level of filmmaking that we're at, generally we would, rent a house, we'd have to work with whatever was there, maybe bring in some furniture and try to schmooze it. But this could be a complete vision. And so when we walked in, it was a classroom, and we were able to take the desks out, and it was white walls, and from there we were able to build the set from the ground up, literally. So that was kind of exciting.
I vividly remember the panic that you had when we were first here in
the
the white
room,
going, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God.
It's a really big room.
And, I tend to be the eternal optimist, at least I try, but I slowly learn, the uphill hurdle. And I think that producing is that, but I always ground myself with when I'm driving here and I'm feeling a little down or feeling like things are overwhelming, I wouldn't want to be doing anything else.
Yeah.
And that's what roots me in, doing this, and that this is really where I ought to be, because I thought, okay, I'll be on my couch, but will I be happy? Will I be creatively satisfied?
Yes.
No. So it is very overwhelming. I think people don't talk about that side of producing.
No,
often.
they really don't, and it is, they sort of glamorize the hard work that it takes, and there's nothing glamorous about it whatsoever, as my eye bags can attest to. But no, it's about collaboration, it's about communication, it's about teamwork, it's about time management, and biggest of all, it's about fundraising. And that's been a huge learning curve for both of us. We've had some great investors come on, but that doesn't mean we're stopping the fundraising. It has to continue. There's always another thing that comes up, some more insurance, or another actor needs, a ride somewhere, so we'll have to hire another driver, or catering for an extra day. So, that sort of hole becomes a little bit larger as you get closer to production, and then you got to find those resources to fill that hole so you can sail through still in the black.
Yes, and then hoping to position yourself for further success in the future, because if you want to stay in it, it's about sustainability.
Absolutely.
And so it's only thinking about the creative project, which I could speak for myself, gives me life. Like I was just talking to the actors today and going over the shots, and it makes it all worth it. Some of the grueling stuff that got me away from the economics degree in the first place that I end up having to come revisit, but there's a happiness to it and an ultimate goal.
Yeah, definitely. And also finding people in the community that we can partner with, and we can go knock on their doors and say, hey, you have a really cool car outside. Think you can borrow it for a couple of days on shoot because it's just the right vintage that we need. Or, trying to reach out to local manicurists and seeing if they'll come to set to do manicures for our stars. And we've been so fortunate to gather an amazing cast. They're coming in from New York. A lot of them are revered Broadway actors. Tova Feldshuh, Julie Halston, Tibor Feldman, and a cast of other characters as well. So
yourself included, and James, who also went to the program, and really just utilizing every resource we had. I mean, Stony Brook has been above and beyond generous in the facility usage and the equipment we got through them, and that was one of the initial reasons why we made the decision to make a feature as opposed to a short, because of these resources. We're, ostensibly saving a tremendous amount of money utilizing those resources instead of graduating and then trying to finance that whole part of it.
Yeah, Dr. Robert Reeves has been so supportive, and running things through channels, up to him, and getting the green light on most everything has been just a very big blessing.
And Laura Lyons for the facilities. She came on as just somebody who was supposed to babysit us, and now she's an associate producer.
Exactly.
Maybe we should talk a little bit about the festival.
Yes.
Because it's a great opportunity to network with local filmmakers and also international filmmakers. We're celebrating our 4th year. We started this festival back in 2018. And then COVID hit, so we did it virtual our 2nd year, hybrid our 3rd, and then we're fully back in person for our 4th. The last weekend in September. Yes.
Producing.
We say this pitch in our sleep.
Yes, exactly.
But we accept films of all different kinds. And Gnu, who is, hooked us up with this interview, he has been a friend of the festival from the very beginning. And he always has a place there, and we love his films and the community that he brings. And so definitely check us out. And we really want to expand. We don't want to just stay in Mastic Beach. We want people from all over the island, all over the tri-state area, and all over the world.
So I'd like to take you on a tour of our set. I always like to think of the setting as a character, and so this is one of the ensemble that will be participating in this particular film as well. And there's some really nice details here. So the film is a period piece, and we're setting it in the early 1950s. We can't be too specific because our budget is limited, but we have a little breadth as far as that goes. The other wonderful thing about this particular film is that it is an old family. So they come from sort of old money, in Southampton. So we're able to incorporate things from the 30s, the 40s, and then up to the 50s, as well as some older items as well. So the first detail is this particular mantelpiece, which becomes the focal point of this particular room. We were so lucky that we're able to source things on Facebook Marketplace, and I did bring a huge truckload of items from Michigan as well, where I'm from originally. And from there we start to piece things together. We got our floor from Home Depot of all places, but it really sells itself tremendously as a parquet floor. And does the trick visually. And then the next big character of this room is actually this sofa. And the sofa came with a chair and an ottoman, but to find the right sofa that spoke the language of this film I was getting a little bit worried. I thought perhaps we might not find the right character for this particular location, but eventually we did. We've got the appropriate side tables for the era, and then all the little details, accessories really do make the whole film. They always give a sense of life to the actors particularly. We just had a set visit with Tova Feldshuh, and she was taking in all the details, and she noticed that even the candy, the candy dishes had candy in them, which she was very, very happy to see. And then over here we have actually a working Victrola, and these are kind of hard to find that they're actually working. So I don't know if I can get it to work right now. It's something, I think I have to rewind it. But anyway, so this is a working Victrola. And then we have our little bar area. And then the character specifically likes to use herbal medicine in her life. So I put together almost like a shaman's tea cart for her. And there's so many various details. She does like to smoke a pipe at the beginning of the film. And so I have that all set up and ready for her to go. And other bottles that I'll be filling in with various water and colored waters and whatnot. And then from there, we just have very specific, character details. I like to think of this as Bee's sort of shelf where she put her things that are most special to her. And then on the opposite side of the room is Max's shelf, which we can take a look at. Now, the very, very big focal point of this whole room are these lambrequins that we designed. We had some design challenges because this was a classroom. And so they were white walls. We took the desks out, and then we started to build this. And luckily, my mother is an interior designer. I wasn't very adept with window treatments, so I sort of described what it was that I was looking to do, what I envisioned for the room, and then she helped me to come up with this solution. And then we had some carpenters come in to pressure fit the frames and then put these particular lambrequins up with these particular details. And the urns I got on Facebook Marketplace, as well as the piano. And the piano unfortunately doesn't play, but it was free and we just had to transport it over here. And so we'll be having our actors simulate playing during this particular film. And this is Max's bookshelf here. And all the nice little details that go with that. So we're in the library now, and this was sort of an add-on. I wasn't going to completely do wallpaper and window treatments and everything else, but when our director of photography visited, he said, well, you never know. And so, we found it in the budget to cover two of the walls in here, and then find window treatments that also went with it. These bookshelves, we found on Facebook Marketplace. They're not quite appropriate, but for these purposes, they hold books, and from far away at a distance, they'll be great. And then we have, of course, their talking telephone chair, which is very of the period, and that will be something that is featured in this particular film as well. So here we are in the entranceway of the Carriage House, where the classrooms are, or were, and we like to call this our sunroom. We put in a bunch of artificial plants as if it was a mini conservatory for this particular family. We have the traditional wicker going on. We've got some little witchy runes for our character to cast some sort of questions and hopefully get some answers from the great beyond. There is a tie to nature, so some, old dead horseshoe remains that were from the beach, and shells and rocks and driftwood. And then that's mixed in with some accessories from the area of like the statuary. This is a French stove that we put in there. And I actually attached it with a stovepipe, and this is a Frisbee because I couldn't find a flange to actually work.
Movie magic.
Yes, exactly. And then for the period, we also have our milk box with our milk ready for the milkman to come and make their next delivery. This is the bunker. So in the 1950s, many people were in threat of the Cold War, and so they developed bunkers for themselves. Now, this bunker is not the practical kind of bunker. This bunker is a bunker that the character of Max creates for his wife, knowing that she loves her creature comforts, and it may sacrifice their well-being in the end, but he still goes the extra mile to make sure that she will have some of the comforts, in life. I created the door out of Luan and, dog bowl. This happens to be a dog bowl that I sprayed and put a lock on. This is a bird bath that has been fashioned into a table. And then from there, all the different accessories from the 30s, 40s, and 50s that I gathered together for this particular film. We have gas masks up at the top just in case they need to get ready in the threat of some sort of invasion. And then from there, just more details that just add character and that the actors can really feel that they're tied to this particular space. I found a bunch of old cosmetic bottles and various like cotton dispensers and whatnot that are also vintage. Max gets a little bit, sort of anxious, so I have his trusty old X-Lax container right over here. And hopefully the two of them will survive what is coming their way. We have some vintage labels here that I was able to find online and download and then cover up various cans with. Eventually, when we go to film, we're going to fill these jars up with peaches and other preserves that they would have on hand. The eggs are going to be actually pickled eggs at the end of the shoot. Before we start camera up, and I just thought it added a nice sort of visual to the whole thing. And then behind here is the fishing. That's going to be something that they are going to implement once the threat of war is over with and they need to find provisions for themselves. And that concludes our tour. I'm so happy that you could join us. Not often are we able to open up a set to various people, and it was such a pleasure to have a bit of an open house here for the people who have supported us along the way. And we're always looking for more supporters. We'd love to guide you on this tour of this particular set as well individually, but come partner with us and we'll see what we can do. Thank you.
Us here at Dirty Rhetoric Film would like to thank LTV for all their support, for helping us get the word out, and everything you guys do for our community.
Absolutely.